This time I've got a Panasonic PV1545. This is an old VCR from like 1985, one of the first hi-fi stereo VCRs. So old, it does not even have an MTS stereo tuner in it. This one was given to me. It eats tapes. Let's fix it. Well, welcome to another episode of Tech Talk. Just enjoying my little $1 FM transmitter there. Had it playing here in the shop. This is a VCR that I got picked up off of Facebook for free. Check this one out. It's an old Panasonic. It's a Pana. This thing weighs a ton. Model number on this one is a PV1545. This is a hi-fi stereo, but no MTS tuner in it. If you notice on the back here, there's a TV MPX out. So this one here actually had a standalone MTS decoder to receive stereo broadcasts. So this is very early in the VHS hi-fi, and this came out before MTS TV was very popular and the decoder was built in. Know nothing about this one. We're going to pop this one apart before I even plug it in and see what it's doing, if anything. So basically now I have those two little FM MP3 player FM transmitters. The one that plays music for when I'm testing stuff on camera, which I've got a royalty-free SD. It's an SD card. No, it's a USB stick, a 2 gig USB stick plugged into it, and it plays the royalty-free music on one frequency, which I use for when I'm testing stuff, and I can feed that. I have an FM tuner that feeds into my AM stereo transmitter for when I'm testing AM radios. But I also have that other one that I just picked up for $1. Put the external antenna on it so it has a little bit better range at the other end of the band. And I can also feed that into the AM transmitter. So if I want to listen to music on one of my vintage radios, I can listen to something other than the royalty-free music. So I've got two choices. I can just tune in the little tuner that feeds my AM stereo transmitter. Got to do things wirelessly around here, right? The hard way. Okay, real common problems on these units were power supplies, of course. It's of the era where caps go bad. This one is powering up. Let's just see whether we get a picture. Ooh, like nice warped board back here. Smells of smoke. This came out of a smoker's house. Alright, let's just see whether it does anything. So we'll load the tape in. Before I try playing it, we'll see if it fast forwards or rewinds. That'll give me an indication of... the idler tire is shot. So good chance it's going to eat the tape, but we'll see. I just want to see if I get a picture. I have a picture, so whoops, stop. This is going to eat the tape, so I'm not going to eject the tape. I'm going to wind the tape back in by hand, but it has a picture, so we have a mechanical problem. Either we have a broken belt or we have an idler that's bad on this one. So let's just pop the bottom off. The fact that it didn't attempt to even retract the tape indicates to me that might be the belt is broken or come off or turn to mush. But it does have a picture when I tried playing it. It does have a picture, so that's good. That's telling me that the electronics are in good shape. And this one should be a relatively simple fix. And it's a great machine, and I've got the remote control for it right there. So I got the remote for this one. This being a classic machine, somebody will want this one. It's very heavy and very well built. And the belt is intact. Therefore, the problem on this one is going to be the drive idler is probably worn out. Yeah, I can see the drive idler moving, but it's not moving the tape. Therefore, I got to eject the tape, sacrifice my tape, which will be damaged. Oh well, I got to take it out so that I can get to the idler so I can try to repair it. Oh well, it's just my Bose tape anyway, so we have an idler problem on this one. This should be a pretty simple one to fix. Let's check out this worn idler. It's not driving. You see it moves back and forth, but it's not transferring any torque. So we need to replace, or well, I won't be replacing the idler. I don't have one, but I'm going to try to at least make it work. So I'll start by flipping out the, I think this is the hi-fi board on this one. I'm going to pull the front loading mechanism out just to make it easier to get to the idler, and then we're going to try something. See whether I can restore this idler. I don't have one, but I'm going to try something on here that I've never tried before. So this may or may not work. I guess we'll find out soon enough. This should lift out. There's two more screws. Red screws in the back here. Now the main reason I want to put the cassette mechanism out is it just makes it easier. I certainly could get at the idler without removing it, but it's a lot easier if we take the cassette housing out. It just unplugs. I want to unplug this one here, just undo that plug there. Now I can set that aside. We can access the idler. Idler comes out really easy on these units. Just one little cut washer holds it in place. That's if the cut washer hasn't turned to it hasn't damped or hasn't broken or turned to a very brittle state where it's going to snap on me. And I got it off here without breaking it. That's good, because sometimes they get brittle and then you got a problem. Now I can just lift this idler tire up. Got to remove the spring. Get the spring out of the way. I can lift the idler tire up, and this is the tire that's bad, and I have an idea. So do you remember when I got these 4mm belts for cassette decks off of Amazon? And I said, you know, there's a lot of really small belts that would actually be useless because I've never seen a capstan belt that size. What do you think? If I stretch one of these around this tire, will this give it enough? Will this give it enough traction to turn the spool? It's tight, so if it'll stay on here, then it just might do the job. And I mean, I could always glue it on, right? But let's just try putting this on here to begin with and see whether that will drive. And if I glue it on, then it will, you know, use some rubber cement. I would think would be a good one. Just put some rubber cement around the tire and put this tire on. Before cementing it in place, let's just put this back on this machine and see whether it'll actually operate the deck. Wouldn't that be something? Because I got a whole bunch of these little tires, or a whole bunch of these little belts that would fit on these idler tires. So we put that back onto here. Like that. Put the cut washer back on, hold it in place, and the spring, and I can turn the mechanism from below and see whether it actually transfers power to the reels, and if it does, then there's a good chance that this is going to work. So there's that. Let's just turn the mechanism from below and see whether the take up and supply spool will turn. By George, I think it's going to turn. Oh yeah, that's going to turn all right. I'm getting excited. This could be a simple fix and a use for those useless belts. Now watch people buy those belts like they're going out of style. Let's put the front loading mechanism back in and we'll give this machine a try. And don't worry, I will get some rubber cement on there. If this works, I will be pulling this tire apart and putting rubber cement on there. Are we ready? Let's plug it in. See if it works. Oh yeah.
Arriving in your stores will be support materials to further promote this value.
It works.
To your customer.
Excellent. Just put my other tape in. Let my other tape play in this thing for a while. So you guys just learned something. Those useless belts that they sell that are way too small for any tape deck. There you go. Nice tight fitting one over top of an idler. I bet you I wouldn't even have to glue, like cement that in place. I bet you if I just left that as it is, it probably would work fine until it breaks, which could be years. But cementing it in certainly would keep it in place. Well, now that I know it works, I'm just going to pull the front loader out again, pull that idler out, and we're going to put some glue on there. I'm going to find some, I think I got some rubber cement around here. We're going to put some cement on there to hold that idler in place. Once again, MG Chemicals 8337 speakers service cement will be brought out and used because this is a rubber type cement and it's pretty sticky. So I think that this might just be the answer. Plus it's what I've got on hand. But you see, this stuff it's really, really sticky. And that will be the ultimate for keeping this idler, or keeping this belt on top of this idler. So we'll just put some cement around the exterior of the old idler and then put that belt back on, let it dry, and then put the unit back together. And we'll give it a thorough test. Even coating all the way around. The trick will be to not let the little belt that I put on, not let it turn inside out or anything as I'm putting it on here. I don't want any of the cement on the outside of it, although it probably wouldn't hurt it anyway because it'll dry. And I'm sure this will give, and I mean, we could probably just put this stuff on and let it dry. It would probably fix the idler, to tell you guys the truth. Maybe we'll try that on another one. We'll just coat the outside of the tire with this stuff and let it dry, because this stuff it's like rubber once it's set up. I got a speaker that I'm going to fix with it that's got big rips in it, and hopefully it will fix it. Okay, that's done. Let me just get the tire back in place. Let's cover this up so I don't spill it. Get the tire back on here. Like that. Get it centered. It's fighting me every step of the way right now. There we go. We'll let this glue dry, and then I'll reassemble the thing once it's dried, and we'll give it another try. Worked fine without putting cement on there, but I just want to make sure that the tire won't fall off, right? So this, I think, will be a permanent fix for this idler. And if this one works, I'll be doing many others. I can see even smaller belts like that are in here working on like tape decks and stuff. These little flat belts, because they're just about the right width. It's almost perfect. I'm not too worried about this rough surface on here. It'll be fine. What we've done is we've made the tire larger, and it's now nice and sticky as opposed to being really slippery. So let that dry for a while, and then we'll put this machine back together. Alright, I premiered the other video. While I let this thing set up, this one should be good now. We'll put this idler back in, and then throw this machine together and run a few tests on it to make sure everything is good. And we'll have saved another machine from the scrap heap. And I got the remote set for this one as well, so this will be a machine that is a desirable machine for a collector just because of the design of it, and it's a nice big old heavy machine that these ones here just never had anything go wrong with them, or very little. This was one of the more reliable of the machines that Panasonic made. There we go. Now there's no possibility that that new tire that I just remanufactured will fall apart. Let me get the cassette basket back in and we'll do a final test. Okay, the unit's back together. Here's fast forward. That's looking good. Let's check rewind out. That's looking good too. Nothing's slowing down. We'll check the remote control, make sure that the remote is working. This one uses AA batteries and not AAA, so let me find a couple of AA batteries and we'll make sure that remote is working. Tracking, where's the tracking on this one? There's tracking control right here. And I think there's a switch on here for the, here we go, HD track. So you can track it using the meter. Cool. So the VU meter, you can use it to adjust the tracking, to peak it out. Interesting. Okay. And now of course I have VU on it. Search forward, that works. Search backwards. Where's search backwards is not working. Oh, there it is. There we go. You gotta hold the, on this one you gotta hold the buttons down for search. Also I have to point it at the remote. I was pointing it the wrong way. Let's see. So, search is working. How about freeze frame? Look at that, almost perfect. Slow motion. This had variable slow. And a separate slow tracking control. And there it is. Not bad, considering it's going on a plasma TV. Something that wasn't really designed for playing VHS tapes on. With all the timing errors that they've got. It's doing a pretty good job. Back to full play. Okay, this one is done. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.